In this section, we will answer all of the questions that we receive from our Google form. For the sake of ease, we have combined some of the questions together, but we wanted to make sure to keep them in the form that you sent them to us. Our first question is, if my student is in Group A, virtual instruction occurs on Tuesday and Wednesday, correct? So, for the start of our school year this year, all students will be remote receiving virtual instruction. There are a few exceptions that have been conducted through IEP team meetings, but otherwise we are starting completely remote. For live instruction, students who are on A will have their live instruction on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Students who are B will have their live instruction on Thursdays and Fridays. If you are unsure of whether your student is A or B, you can find that information by logging into Parent View. If you're still not sure, feel free to call our office and we'll be happy to help. But again, students who are A will receive their live instruction on Tuesday, Wednesday, and students who are on Schedule B will receive live instruction on Thursdays and Fridays. Our next question, is the virtual instruction only a couple of days a week? What is required the other days? So we understand because this is all completely new, it is sometimes very challenging to wrap your head around what that looks like. Students starting our school year will receive virtual instruction 5 days a week, but only 2 of those days will be live interactive instruction with their Garrisonville teacher. Again, students on day A will have live instruction on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and students on B will have live instruction Thursday and Friday. The other 3 days during the week, our students will have many different options for how they will participate in their virtual asynchronous instruction, meaning not with a live teacher. Our teachers will be using Canvas as our platform and will be pushing out videos, activities, and other interesting things for your students to participate in those days. We will also have options such as Dreambox and Lexia that many of our students are already familiar with. Our teachers will go over all of this with our Gators as they begin their instruction, and we'll also go over it with our families at our open houses, which will be conducted the week of August 24th. Our next questions. What will typically look like on virtual A and B, and how many hours will the virtual classes be? So our instructional hours for Garrisonville for this school year are 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. That will be for our live instruction days and eventually when we return to the building. Our students on live days will be able to log on a little before 9 a.m. for our morning announcements, and live instruction will start at 9. Instruction will end at 2 p.m. The classes will be conducted throughout the day, but we will be sure to stop for not only our specials, but also for lunch, recess, and other brain breaks to give students time to have a break from their screen. Our teachers will also building in activities during the day that require students to take a break from their screen to provide that time as well. If students aren't able to join live instruction, we will make sure that we have other activities for them to do throughout the day. Next set of questions that go together. Can we do school in the afternoon with our child when we finish work, or do they have to be logged in from 9 to 2? And second question that goes along with that, for the 2 synchronous learning days, how long will students need to be online? So again, our live days will start at 9 a.m. and end at 2 p.m. However, we are well aware that many families have different situations that may prevent them from being on live during those times. Your classroom teacher will walk you through different options when they meet with you for your open house to talk through different scenarios with you. We will offer a live morning meeting for the entire class, both Group A and B, every day at 9 a.m. This will give our students a chance to see each other, get a chance to share what's going on, and just have that live time with their teacher each morning to set up their routine. If a student can't join, no worries. We'll provide plenty of other opportunities. As far as if you're able to work with your student after your own work hours, absolutely. But what we want you to know is from 9 to 2 on your A or B days, we're here for your student. If they're in a place where they're able to log on, we will take it from there and keep them engaged during that time. We will break for lunch and recess, but we will make sure to provide that schedule to you during our open houses. Our next question. What will virtual curriculum look like when or if the option for face-to-face learning is available? Will students still have synchronous instruction 2 days per week? And the answer is absolutely yes. So we are developing our class lists and schedules based off of when we eventually return to the building. So students will have face-to-face instruction 2 days a week, just like they would when we return to a hybrid schedule. The other 3 days a week will be those asynchronous opportunities, such as videos the teacher has issued, other work assignments through workbooks and textbooks, other reading assignments, or opportunities such as Dreambox and Lexia for math and reading intervention. So we will continue to keep as similar of a schedule as we can in our remote setting as when we return to hybrid. Our next question. Will there be a set time for lunch and breaks? And the answer is absolutely yes. I am doing my very best to provide all Gators the same lunch and recess block for the sake of our families at home so that the students can be on the same schedule while they're home with you. We will get those schedules to you the week of open house, but we will absolutely have time for breaks built into the day. We will also have specials, which will be talked about later in our town hall, so that your students can see their favorite specialists while they're still working remotely. Next question. What happens if my child can't get on the computer at the start of the day or the computer crashes? How will this time be handled? Will the student be marked tardy or unexcused absence from class? So we all understand in this situation that technology issues will happen. Our teachers will be meeting with you through those open houses to teach students how to log into their Chromebook, how to make sure they know how to access their Google meetings, and how to use Canvas, even our kindergartners. While that may sound overwhelming, we promise we're going to provide lots of step-by-step tutorials that will be shared with you the week of the 24th. If a student is unable to log in, if you lose power, if there's a situation at home that prevents them from logging in, no worries. Our attendance will be taken in many different ways. One of them will be logging in live on their live days or on morning meeting any day. But we will provide other opportunities for attendance to be taken, such as logging into Canvas to access those different activities or logging into Dreambox or Lexia. If you have any questions or concerns about live instruction and attendance, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I will be happy to walk through your family situation and decide what would be best for your students on those days. Next question, and one of my favorite questions. I'm a working parent who comes home exhausted. What will those other days look like? So rest assured, we understand, and we are going to help walk through any of those situations. So on your students' asynchronous days, when they're not with their live teacher, there will be lots of different learning opportunities. Again, any attendance will be taken by logging into Canvas, Dreambox, or Lexia. Dreambox and Lexia parents and family members is completely student-paced, and our teachers monitor that. So as long as you can make sure your student knows how to log in, you are good to go. As far as some of the other pieces, we totally appreciate your partnership, but we understand that that might not happen on certain days during the week. And that is totally okay. We are here to help you through that. If you have a particular family situation, just reach out to your child's classroom teacher and they will help find the solution that best fits your family. No stress, we've got you. We're gonna get through this together. And our last question for this section, when will students be allowed to enter the building for face-to-face learning? And I wish I could tell you an exact date, but I just don't have that. Dr. Kisner, our superintendent, is working with our school board to look at specific measures to decide when it is safe to continue to bring students into our building. To start off with, we will have some students who are in vulnerable groups accessing the building, but it is our anticipation that in the end of September, our school board and Dr. Kisner will look at those health metrics and education metrics that he'll be discussing in the upcoming weeks to best provide guidelines for families as to when we will bring back groups of students. That may look different in different groups, but we will work with you on making sure that we have open communication when we do know those dates. Our first question in this section is, on the days of virtual scheduled learning, will the students be on the computer the whole time? Are there concerns for the child having that much constant screen time? So as we shared in our earlier session, the screen time is definitely being monitored by our amazing classroom teachers. Our teachers know the developmental needs of their students, and they are working out schedules to accommodate that. So while the instructional day is 9 to 2, we will have breaks built into that time when the students are not looking at their screen. There may be a writing activity, a math problem to work on, or things in workbooks that will take students' eyes off of our screen to provide that break. We'll also be doing lots of songs and dances that allow our brains to take a break from the content we are working on, and also our eyes taking a break from our screens. So we will build in that time, but just so you know, as parents, from 9 to 2, minus that lunch and recess break, your teacher will be live there on the camera or one of our specialists to make sure that your students staying engaged with the learning. Next question. With virtual instruction, will the kids have to sit in front of the computer in real time, or are the learning modules pre-recorded? So on the students' days that they are assigned to live instruction, again, A being Tuesday, Wednesday, and B being Thursday, Friday, it's ideal for your student to be able to join us from 9 to 2 so they can get the most benefit from live interaction with their teacher. However, we will be providing those asynchronous lessons for the days that they don't have live instruction. That will be pre-recorded videos, different activities, and also websites to enhance our students' learning. So while it is ideal on the days that they are scheduled for live learning that they are there from 9 to 2, they will also have those asynchronous opportunities to participate in as well. The next question, which is I combined two questions that were shared from our families. So the first one is, why only 2 days of instruction per week virtually? It seems odd that teachers could manage 5 days of instruction in person back in February, but can only sustain 2 days of real-time instruction from home. And why can't we do structured Google Classrooms 4 days a week since we're 100% virtual? So this may seem a little confusing to families, and we completely understand. To be clear, your student will have access to instruction 5 days a week to fill the times of 9 to 2. Their live days, we would love for them to be able to join us from 9 to 2 so they can interact with their teachers and classmates. But those other 3 days, they will get to participate in many different types of activities through Canvas that require them to be a little bit more self-paced. We will also be providing some choice and some student interest in those activities as well. Your students will also have the opportunity to participate in live specials and specials that have been pre-recorded for the days that they don't have live instruction. So while the teachers appear to only be teaching your child 2 days a week, they are working with Group A live on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Group B live on Thursday, Friday. Monday has been set aside for teachers to develop these enriching lessons for your students and to work together as a team to continue to promote different learning activities. There also may be situations where groups of students are asked to meet on Monday to work on intervention or enrichment. What we want you to know as families is that we are trying our best to align our remote start to our hybrid return eventually. What we don't want to have happen is that students get off pace or off schedule from what we intend to have happen when we are back here in the building. The next question is a big one and a super long one, so I'll break it into parts, but it is all about our standard of learning testing that we typically do for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. So the first part of the question is, with less real-time instruction, the students will necessarily cover less new material. How will this impact preparation for SOL testing in the spring? So our teachers are still covering their same standards of learning issued by the state of Virginia DOE to make sure that our students are covering their grade level content. While they're only live 2 days a week, the groups of students they will be working with will be much smaller than what our classrooms have been in the past, since we're dividing each class into an A and a B. This will provide the teacher more time with the students to work through those standards, and they will also be doing them in the days of asynchronous learning. So we will still be covering all the standards this school year. As of now, the state is still required to do SOL testing in the spring for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Our 3rd graders typically take SOL testing in reading and math. Our 4th graders take it in reading, math, and Virginia studies, and our 5th graders take SOL tests for reading, math, and science. As of now, our state superintendent, Dr. Lane, has let us know that accreditation is being granted to all schools. However, we still want to make sure our students are learning the standards that they are. So we will do our very best to make sure that we do that, as we always do. The second part of the question is, will the SOL tests missed last year ever be made up? And the answer is no. That content has been completed because when we closed our schools, we were already entering our 4th quarter. Most of the content that would be new to our students had been covered, with just a few pieces that were left over. But the actual test itself will not be made up. The next part of the question is, what is the long-term impact of missing one test and being underprepared for another? So the interesting piece about Virginia's SOL testing is that it is the testing based on that school year. The only exception is 5th grade science, which does cover 4th and 5th grade science. So because of that, missing the test doesn't impact your student. But we are going to make sure that this year they are exposed to all of the content for that grade level for their testing in the spring. And the last part of that question, will teachers be preparing for SOLs, and how will the uncovered material from last year be addressed? So our teachers have worked diligently over the summer in learning communities to make sure that any standards that would have been addressed as new content in 4th quarter are being built in as a spiral to this school year. So that means if there was a concept that would have been new to our Gators in 4th quarter, we have built that into our entire school year this year to make sure they are exposed to that content. Moving on from that, a question that some of our 5th grader families might have. What are the expectations for 5th grade students who are rising 6th grade students for next year for placement into areas such as math? At this time, we have not discussed what the 5th grade students will be looking at for their 6th grade math placement, but I will definitely follow up with all of our 5th grader families to let you know what those requirements are for 6th grade math. I can tell you that last year we waived the 5th grade SOL scores as part of those requirements because the 5th graders did not take that assessment. Obviously this year we would have to waive the 4th grade SOL requirements because our current 5th graders did not take that test this past year. But I will keep you all updated as we make a decision as a division so that you know about middle school placement for math. Next question. What will the percentage of teacher instruction versus self and parent instruction be? So I can't break it down by an actual percentage, but what I can tell you is that 40% of the students' week will be live with their classroom teacher. The other 60% will be through those asynchronous activities, which means self-paced activities that will be available through Canvas, which is our learning platform, and the other activities that your classroom teacher provides. So while we certainly love our partnerships with our family to further our students' educations, we also understand that a lot of that will be responsible in the classroom setting. So we've got you covered there, and we're going to make sure that that all happens. Next question. How much work will be given to students on the 3 days that they are asynchronously learning? So we are preparing enough content and materials and activities that your students can be pretty busy in that standard day, which again for Garrisonville for this year is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So with that being said, on those asynchronous days, your students will not need to be in front of the computer all day from 9 to 2, but they will have opportunities to participate in specials, morning meeting, and other activities that will be conducted virtually. They'll also have access to Dreambox, Lexia. They will have reading activities, math activities, science and social studies activities. Some of those will be delivered through actual reading materials and paper, which will be available for pickup the week of the 24th. You should have received an email from the school on Friday that lets you know that we will be having pickup of materials the week of the 24th, and that will include paper copies of what our students need. The next question. This past spring, students could only connect on Google Classroom if they were on with a teacher for a scheduled activity. Will there be some way for the students to connect through an app or platform so they can socialize and or collaborate on schoolwork? So we are super excited this year to introduce Canvas to our families, which provides our teachers and students with more collaborative ways to work together. While our students might only be on Google Meets with their teacher live on their synchronous learning days, they will be also working in small groups those days in breakout sessions. So we are super excited to have more ways for our students to work together and get that social interaction. All of those breakout sessions will be monitored by our staff, so students will always be with a staff member. We will also have morning meeting daily, Monday through Friday, from 9 a.m. to 9:20 a.m., which will be an opportunity for the entire class to get together, to see each other, to share different answers, and to build that classroom community. The next question. Being that my student is younger, she's really missed out on seeing her friends and not having contact info for most of them. Can we find a safe way to still connect so that they feel as though they are still getting that contact? We will definitely work with families on ways to do that. We as a school don't share contact information, but there are certainly ways that we can set up for our families to do that. So we will work on that in the upcoming weeks so that you have the ability, if you would like, to share your contact information to set up other social meetings with your Gators. Next question. How will my kindergarten child get to know his teacher in class? What interactive methods will be used? So, starting with our open houses virtually the week of August 24th, we will be providing opportunities for students to see each other and their teacher so that they can start to build those relationships. We know this year that connections are incredibly important, and so are those relationships that come from them. So we are going to continue to build in ways, and you'll hear more throughout our town hall tonight from people about different ways our staff is ready to do that. But we are definitely going to make sure that even our kindergartners have the opportunity to see their classmates and their teachers as much as often. The next question. Will worksheets be used for school? Will teachers be providing the paperwork for students that parents will need to pick up, or will it all be virtual? So we are trying very hard as a staff to be as accommodating to parents' schedules as we can be. So on August 25th and August 26th, we will have supply pickup. We are trying to include any paper materials at that time that your student will need for quite some time working remotely at home. That way, you don't have to keep coming back to school to get those. So things like workbooks and other practice materials will be provided at those pickup sessions. As the Google form and email said on Friday, if you can't come to those 2 sessions, we will accommodate that. Just let us know, give us a call in the front office, and we will find a time that works for you. Otherwise, all the other materials will be virtual to limit the need for families to come here to school to pick up items. Next question. It has been said that not all learning will be on the computer. Will there be worksheets that we have to print out? Or will the workbooks at the beginning of the school year cover that material? We will not be asking families to print out any materials at home. Anything that is on paper will be provided by our school, ideally on the 25th and 26th of August. If other materials need to be on paper that we are not able to provide at that time, we will make sure that we get them to families without inconveniencing you. Next question, which is actually my last question. Will any books that the class reads together be provided by the school? Yes, any paper copies that your students need of reading materials will be provided to you. Most of our materials will be available in ebooks so that you don't need to have that paper copy. But if a teacher is going to do a book study or have students read a book together, those would be provided to you. Later in our session, you'll hear from Ms. Golis, our librarian, about our book checkout process, so that will still be happening this year as well. That's it for me. I'm going to turn it over to the rest of the staff to answer some other questions.
Hello, Gator families. I'm Jody Odlum, the assistant principal here at Garrisonville Elementary. This evening, I want to share a couple questions with you. The first one is, for the first 2 months, while all students are virtual, it sounds like there will be 2 days spent online with their teacher and 3 days with only a scheduled morning meeting and the rest of the day on your own learning. For students who choose the 100% virtual plan, how will that change when the hybrid students go back to the building? That will not change. Their virtual schedule will remain the same. The next part of that question was, will they still be online 2 days learning along with the students who are in the classroom, or will they have a teacher who is only teaching online? Students on our 100% virtual plan will have access to a virtual teacher, and hybrid students will work with a teacher face-to-face. The second question is, if students stay virtual all year while other students potentially return in person, will the students who remain virtual have the same teacher? Yes, we will try our very best to have our students remain with their assigned teacher. However, we anticipate some minor changes if parents decide to switch between the hybrid and the virtual plans, but we will do our best to keep them with their teacher. Will students who are signed up for virtual learning for the semester have the same GES teacher the full semester? How would this change if the student returns to the hybrid for the second semester? The answer to the first question is yes, it would not change. They would have their same teacher. We are basing our class list on the long-range plans that families have shared with us already. For example, if you selected the hybrid plan, the entire remote class that your child starts with have also selected the hybrid plan. The next set of questions are in regards to grading. How will kids' grades be determined? Teachers will still be issuing assignments and monitoring their students' progress. Teachers will share this information with you in the next couple of weeks. Grading does continue and will be standards-based. Will there be any screening of kindergartners this year, or will they just be placed based on their choice of virtual versus hybrid? Our kindergartners will be placed based on the choice the family selected regarding virtual or hybrid schooling. However, our teachers will be assessing and working in guided groups within the first few weeks of school and determining specific student needs at that time. The next question is in regards to open house. Is the week of orientation an actual face-to-face meeting with the teacher? No, unfortunately, all orientations this year will be held virtually. You should expect a phone contact from your child's teacher no later than Tuesday, August 25th. The first question says, what Gatorific activities will be hosted at the school, and will virtual-only students be included and able to participate, such as Boosterthon or Spelling Bee? The answer to that is yes, we plan to keep as many of our GES traditions in place. Boosterthon will occur this year, however, it will be virtual. More information will be coming home soon. It is due to start in September. And we are not holding any mass events this year as we need to align with our governor's orders at this time. The next question says, can you address how information will be relayed to parents with students living in two homes? Obviously, some level of working together between the co-parents is required, but can you speak to how teachers will ensure the right information is making it home to both families? Please ensure that you've updated your parent view. You need to reflect all current information for both parents. You can also notify your child's teacher of your specific needs. You may also access your child's information through their Canvas learning. You would just need your child's student login information.
Hi, I'm Betty Fitzhugh. I'm the Focus Resource Teacher for Gifted Services for the students at Garrisonville. I'm here to answer the questions about Focus Services. First question was, will Focus Services continue? Yes, indeed they will. Focus Services will continue with me. Before I left the building, I pulled my hallway sign down. Focus, Ms. Fitzhugh, and here's my gator. I intend to put it up in the kitchen next to my computer so that I can do the work for the students that I'm here to do. There will be 45-minute focus live lessons with identified groups on a day when those students are not with the classroom teacher. On the with teacher days, the teacher and I will work through differentiating opportunities to support the gifted children who need extensions on lessons. The classroom teachers and I will work together in meeting the needs of the gifted child. We will be a team. Next question, how and who will support the Focus program so children that are gifted do not lose momentum and guidance? I'll be working together with our classroom teachers to help differentiate the instruction for our gifted students. This will generate momentum and guidance for the Focus students along with their live sessions with me. What additional support will be offered to students that need extra assistance, and likewise, what enhancements will there be for gifted students? Will this all be left to the parents? The lessons delivered by the Focus teacher and the differentiating that occurs in the classroom will provide the enhancements for the gifted students. The role of the parents will be that of partnering with us on these activities by supporting the child through interest in the task, encouragement as the child undertakes each lesson, reinforcing the child's commitment to effort. That is so important. And when needed, using the Canvas platform to communicate with me or with the classroom teacher if questions arise. And I welcome conferencing with parents on the telephone or through emails. The child's investment in any task is greatly enhanced when the child realizes that you, the teacher, and I are partners in believing in that child's effort, that child's abilities, and that child's interest. Next question. What is the county's plan to continue the Focus program, and what will be done to ensure it still has the same level of interactivity, engagement, and challenge? The county is committed to this plan because Stafford County recognizes the needs of these children. Each school in the county has a Focus resource teacher whose primary goals are to meet the needs of those students and to work with the classroom teachers for learning extensions. The resource teachers are currently training on the Canvas program and at the same time meeting remotely to plan challenging lessons which provide interactivity and engagement. Our last question, how will teachers continue to assess new and existing Focus students identifying new strengths and aptitudes, and continue developing those skills. The referral process will remain the same. Parents and teachers will contact me to get a referral form. Once I receive your written permission to begin, the evaluation process starts. This process has multiple criteria. A portfolio, which is work samples collected by the classroom teacher and evaluated for gifted characteristics by 2 other resource teachers. A teacher rating checklist. An interview with the resource teacher, which I really love. An assessment, the COGAS, which tests the child's reasoning abilities in the verbal, quantitative, and nonverbal areas, and a very important parent questionnaire. The eligibility committee will meet when all of these are completed to determine the student needs gifted services. That concludes. I'd like to end with a hope. Let's hope that we focus on this year when your child will have robust learning experiences that are both challenging, interactive, and fun. Thank you so much.
Hi, Gator families. I have a question about specials. Will each class get to interact with all specials teachers? How will that happen? Each day that a student has live instruction, they will also have live specials. There will be a rotating schedule to allow each student to have as many live specials per quarter as possible. Each week, whatever specials they do not have live, they will have a lesson to complete on their own. These at-your-own-pace lessons will have a combination of pre-recorded videos of their teacher or a variety of online resources and other activities. All students will have the opportunity to check out library books through Destiny. Students in grades 3 to 5 will have a recorder activity and music. More information about special schedule will come soon.
Hello, Gators. I'm Darcy Neeson, and I am the school nurse here at Garrisonville Elementary. I will be answering the medical questions for this town hall meeting. Stafford County Public Schools has worked very hard developing policies and procedures for the COVID management in the school setting. These policies and procedures are based on the most current medical and scientific information available. All school staff attended training regarding these policies on the first day of, that the staff returned to school, and there will be reviews and updates throughout the year. The answers I give you to the questions are based on these policies and procedures. We know that there is a lot of new information coming all the time, so changes may need to be made as new information and data emerge. The first question was, when a child attends school, is a mask required throughout the day? And this is when they're actually in our school building, not when they're doing the virtual, but when they're doing the hybrid and attending school in the building. Yes, all students and staff will be required to wear a mask all day at school. The exceptions will be when eating or drinking, possibly when working with the speech therapist, or other times when wearing a mask is not feasible or appropriate. Please start working with your students now so they are comfortable wearing a mask properly to cover the nose and mouth when we return to school in person. Students will need to bring their own personal mask from home. I have my own personal Gator mask. It needs to cover the nose and the mouth like this when you wear it. The next question was, how will the schools, all areas of the school be cleaned, and what is the frequency? All bathrooms, classrooms, and public areas in the school will be cleaned at the end of every day using the disinfectant Oxivir. This cleaning will include wiping the desk and high contact surface areas such as doorknobs, around sinks, and other high contact areas. At the end of the day on Wednesday and Friday, when they are changing between the hybrid groups, group A and B, then there will be electrostatic disinfecting done. This method sprays the disinfectant through a device that gives it a positive electrical charge as it is spread. It clings to surfaces, hard to reach nooks and crannies, and allows for very thorough cleaning of all surfaces. It's very similar to static electricity, how that works, except this is an actual disinfectant and it cleans very thoroughly. The next question was, how will you ensure social distancing during specials, lunch, etc.? Breakfast, lunch, and snacks will be consumed in the classroom at the individual student's desk, so social distancing will be maintained in that way, because social distancing, the desks are social distancing placed in the classroom 6 feet apart. Specialists will also be coming to the classroom for specials, so again, social distancing will be maintained because students will be in their desk. The hallway floors throughout the school are marked with these real cute orange and green gator feet that are 6 feet apart, so the students will have visual clues to help them to remember to stay 6 feet apart when not in the classroom. Again, please teach your students the importance of maintaining some social distance between other people and to follow the teacher's instructions. Again, all teachers and staff have been trained very thoroughly on what the guidelines, the policies and procedures are, and they will be working to enforce these anytime the students are in the classroom or in the hallways. And the last question is, what is the protocol if someone exhibits symptoms or gets sick for staff and students? The protocol is basically the same for everybody, staff and students, and it again follows the policy established by Stafford County Public Schools. The person who is sick or ill will be immediately removed from the classroom or wherever they are for an assessment. If they have 2 or more symptoms of COVID or have been exposed to someone known to have COVID that they are aware of, they will be taken to a special isolation room, assessed, their parent will be contacted, and they will be sent home for further evaluation. If the Stafford County Health Department is setting up a special phone line for school nurses to call if they have if we have a suspected case of COVID, and so we will be calling them also for guidance, and the health department already has their policies and procedures in place for that also. If it is determined that the person likely has COVID, anyone who had contact with the person would need to be quarantined for 14 days. This contact is considered within a 6-foot distance for more than 15 minutes and is not casual passing in the hall. This quarantine could include an entire class or bus, and parents will be notified as soon as possible. We will likely have students that don't feel well or are sick for reasons other than COVID, and those students would be assessed as we've done in the past and sent home as needed. Please keep your phone numbers and emergency contact lists current. It is really important that someone is available to pick up sick students as soon as possible when they get sick at school. If your children have a fever above 100 degrees, are complaining of not feeling well, or have any of the symptoms associated with COVID or have been exposed to COVID, please keep them home. And that is the end of the questions I have. And just another reminder for students who are new to Garrisonville and new kindergarten students, I do need to have your immunizations and physicals in before the first day of school. Thank you. I am looking forward to seeing all of you when we can be here in person. In the meantime, I hope you like virtual learning.
Hi, Gators and Gator families. We're the counseling team here at Garrisonville.
Hi, I'm Tammy Robinson, and I am the school social worker.
Hi, I'm Molly Clark, one of the counselors, and I'm very excited to introduce our new full-time counselor, Brenna.
Hi, I'm Brenna Lowkrantz. I'm going to be the new full-time counselor here at Garrisonville Elementary, and I'm very excited.
Well, we had a couple of questions that were asked of us, and one of the questions was, how will students get assistance from school counselors during the first 9 weeks?
So one of the big things that we're doing is that our counselors, Ms. Clark and me, Ms. Lowkrantz, are going to be providing the social emotional learning lessons during our specials rotation to all grade levels. So I'll be with kindergarten, first and second, and Molly will be teaching third, fourth, and fifth.
And then we are going to also offer opportunities for students to take part in small group sessions. and those will be advertised probably on our website and on our pages. And we will always be reachable through our emails and phone calls to the school.
And students will also have access to us through their morning meetings and by scheduling individual appointments. And we actually have another question that does relate to morning meeting, which was, will students have the opportunity to connect with classmates in opportunities like morning meeting and small group work virtually?
And the answer to that question is yes, because in morning meeting, of course, all students will kind of be going around and interacting with their classmates virtually. And the teachers are going to be offering small groups so that the students will also have the opportunity to interact with their peers. So if you have any other questions for us, please do not hesitate to reach out to either Tammy Robinson,
Molly Clark,
Or Brenna Locrantz.
and we look forward to seeing all our wonderful Gators starting the new school year.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Miss Ritchie, the new math specialist.
And I'm Miss Torino, the reading specialist.
Miss Torino, this is a very good question submitted by one of the parents of our first graders. I will be working from home while my first grader is on the computer. What if they need help like they got last year from one of the paras? Who's going to help them?
That is a very good question, and I'm sure lots of people are asking that same thing. Our virtual classroom sessions will be much smaller than the face-to-face classrooms. This will allow the teachers to monitor their smaller groups and their students very carefully. That will allow them to continually to monitor and adjust their instruction and jump in if there needs to be reteaching.
We will still be offering guided groups for reading and math with the assistance of our amazing paraprofessionals, our ESOL teachers, and of course, reading and math specialists. And you might even see Mrs. Odlum or Mrs. White jump into a group session now and then.
Whether virtual or face-to-face, I want you to rest assured that we will always strive to meet the needs of every single one of our little Gators because we love them.
Hi, I'm Ms. Carson, and I'm the Instructional Technology Resource Teacher at Garrisonville Elementary. I have a question that we received from a Gator parent regarding student logins. The question was, can you please discuss how links, logins, passwords for the various learning applications or websites would be simplified for each student? I found it confusing in the spring to know where to go to find different types of information, and many of the logins were saved in the Chromebooks when the kids were in school. It was more difficult to access from home. Thank you. Each student is going to receive a login sheet. That login sheet lists any information that they will need to log into the various programs. Included in the list is their Google login. This is what they'll use to log into their Chromebook. Once they're logged into their Chromebook, it will automatically log them into programs such as Google Drive, Clever, and our new LMS Canvas. You're also going to receive resources such as videos and documents explaining how to navigate to each program. There are some programs that you have to navigate to different areas of the Chromebook to get to them, but we'll make sure that that's clear. You're also going to receive resources such as videos and documents that will explain how to navigate to each website. We'll make sure that your Gator will be able to get to all of the resources that they need to make this year a successful one.